Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell so whenever I post a new video you will get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so it's a new week here again, and just as we normally do, we go through the pairs on our watch list and then see what the market has for us going into a new week. All right, here, so we are in the last week of October, so let's see how the market goes entering into a new week. All right, here, so these are the pairs that I want us to go through. All right, here, this time around I've really reduced the number of pairs we are looking at, and going forward, trust me, this is the pairs I'm going to focus on. All right, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, so let's delve deep and see what the market has for us going into a new week. So we start with the dollar index. So last week I was expecting the dollar index to continue to push to the upside, but we didn't really have a clearer direction so far as the dollar index is concerned. All right, we saw price making some bit of consolidations and all that. Friday we saw price tapping into this zone again, and then we saw a move to the downside. And so looking at how price action is at the moment, we are likely to see some short-term bearishness in the dollar index before we see a continuation to the upside. And so I'm expecting price to get to within this range. All right, yes, and so when price gets into this range, I will see how it's going to react. Either it breaks this range or it continues up. All right, if it fails to break below this range, then definitely we are going to see price pushing to the upside. But if it breaks this range, then you are going to see price push to the downside. All right, but for short term, I'm bearish on the dollar index. For short term, I'm very bearish on the dollar index on a short term basis. All right, so let's see how the market goes going into this week so far as the dollar index is concerned. Yeah, so that is just that for the dollar index. Let's look at what is happening on Euro USD. Let's look at what is happening Euro USD. So for Euro USD to last week, we didn't really see a clearer direction on Euro USD. All right, we had some bit of up movement and downside movement, and look at what is happening here. Price, as soon as price got here, we saw price was bouncing to the upside. So after price was taking out sell side liquidity, I'm expecting price to take out what buy side liquidity. That is this highs we are seeing here. Let's switch to lower time frame and see. Yes, so you saw how price reacted here. It took out sell side liquidity, then moved up. We saw a market shift taking out buy side liquidity, and saw price coming back into this other block. All right, and then we saw price breaking this high too as well and moving back again into this other block. And so at the moment, going into next week, I'm expecting price to retrace a little bit. All right, I'm expecting price to retrace a little bit, then we see a continuation to the upside, taking out this high. All right, so first of all, I'll look at price taking out this high, then the next one is going to be this high, and so I'll see how price is going to react. Once we break this high, then definitely we are going to see price shooting up on a long-term basis. All right, here, so on a short term, this is how I'm looking at Euro USD going into next week. Let's look at what is happening on GBPUSD. Let's look at what is happening on GBPUSD. So Euro USD, GBPUSD, same plan. All right, you saw how the market reacted last week. We didn't really see a clear direction. So price has taken out what sell side liquidity. So the next liquidity is the buy side. And so going into next week, I would expect to see the Euro USD shoot down a little bit. All right, if market opens, I'm going to take this little bit of area as my fair value gap. All right, yes, and I'll see how price is going to react within this zone. If not, we are going to see price come back within this zone. Then we see a push to the upside, taking out these buy side liquidity. All right, I'm looking at how price is going to react when it gets to this zone. If it breaks this high, then definitely we are going to see a long-term bullish movement on GBPUSD. All right, I'll just see how price is going to react going into a new week here. So that is just that for GBPUSD. That is just that for GBPUSD. Let's go what is happening on Nasdaq. Let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. So I've always been telling you that if the dollar index is giving us signs of bearishness, the stock indices will give us the opposite. All right, here, and we've seen a very beautiful price action here. All right, right after price taking out sell side liquidity, we saw a market shift. All right, we saw a market shift, and then price coming back into this zone, and we see a move to the upside, taking out this buy side liquidity. And so going into next week, I'm expecting to see price retrace a little bit to this zone. I'm expecting to see price retrace a little bit into this zone. Then we see a continuation to the upside, taking out this relative equal highs. Then I see how price reacts when it gets into this area. And so going into next week, I'll be looking for bullish prices on Nasdaq. All right, so I'll be looking out for the low of the week to form between Sunday and Wednesday. All right, yeah, so even if I'll take a trade on Nasdaq on Monday, I wouldn't be looking for bullish prices. I'll be looking for bearish prices on a short-term basis to make out for the low of the week. Then I go ahead and start looking for bullish prices for the days ahead. Yeah, so that is my expectation on Nasdaq. Let's look at what is happening on S&P 500. So Nasdaq, S&P 500, same plan. All right, yeah, just as we saw price moving to the upside, definitely that is how S&P 500 too is also reacting. We saw price after taking out sell side liquidity, we saw price moving up, all right, and then creating a market shift. Then we saw price coming back to the zone. You saw price coming back to the zone. Then we see a move to the upside. And so going into next week, I'll expect to see a little bit of retracement to this zone. Then you see price taking out this buy side liquidity. Yeah, so once that buy side liquidity is being taken out, then I'll see how price is going to react. All right, then I see how price is going to react. So that is my expectation on S&P 500 as well. Yeah, so that is just that going into next week. All right, here, that is just that going into next week. If you're not part of my Flax trading community, all right, here is Flax trading community. If you're not part of my Flax trading community, look through the description box below. The link is there. Click on the link and be part of the Flax trading Telegram community. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification as well, so whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so that is just that. Until I come your way again, I wish you all good luck and then good trade.